housemates tell me to watch TV in my room. No problem. I read another story on here which inspired me to write this. But mine is nowhere near as interesting, unfortunately. During my first year of university, I shared a house with one other girl and 3 boys. The other girl kept to herself mainly. I was the only one who had a job, and therefore that really bought anything with me other than clothes and a laptop. I decided to be nice and put my TV, quite a decent-sized one I had saved up for a while, in the front room so everybody could watch it, as I could always just use my laptop when I was in my bedroom. One of the boys brought a PlayStation with him and connected it to the TV, which I had absolutely no problem with for the first couple of months. Everything was fine, and they shared using the TV really well. I would generally watch an hour or 2 the days I wasn't working, and they used it most of the other time. After a while, every time I wanted to watch a program I used to get, "There are 3 of us and one of you just go and watch it in your bedroom so we can play FIFA for a lot of programs." I have no problem watching on my laptop, but there are certain things that are really better to watch on the real TV, and I did point out politely that the television did belong to me, and I was only wanting it for an hour. I would also give them plenty of notice when I wanted to watch a program eventually. I just had enough and snapped. I came down to watch something after I told them the previous day I wanted to watch it, and they told me to go and watch it in my bedroom. So I did exactly that. I unplugged the TV from and disconnected their PlayStation and carried it up to my bedroom. I set it up just in time to watch my program, which I had to turn up extra loud to drown out their moaning and banging on my door. The only annoying thing is the next day, one of them had called the bank of Mummy and Daddy, who apparently agreed with them that I was awful, and had ordered a new TV for them. So they only really went without for a week or so, until it arrived. It was a bit smaller too. Edit, typos. So what you guys think and advise about Op's situation? And what would you do if you're on her place? What's your opinion or advice for her? Let me know on the comment. Now here's are the top 3 comments from our community. And what are their own opinion for Op? From Mippertickle, no good deed goes unpunished. It's a good lesson to learn while still in school. It was a bit smaller too. I like how you got that final shot in. Nice MC. From Altruistic Narwhal, well, this is just plain justice. Kudos to you. Lastly, from Amenhotep Tutankin, sweet justice. Though if it were me, the very first time there was a conflict of schedules regarding enjoyment of an asset I own, I'd have put them in their place right then and there. I wouldn't be rude or anything, damn. My stuff, my rules. The entitlement of some people is mind-boggling. And here's our next story. Take notes of everything you say in the meeting, okay? But it will get you fired. So this happened a few years ago, and I will be vague since I'm still not sure if the dust has fully settled from this fiasco yet. At my former company, I was the secretary for a small improvement team that would meet monthly to discuss issues within the company and brainstorm ways to fix them. Something you need to know about me is that I was given this role because people know I am meticulous at keeping records due to HR-related issues I had at a previous place of employment. I don't think my boss realized that this careful record-keeping applied to her as well, especially when she appointed me to be secretary of this little committee, but I digress. I was a model employee, read, award-winning, and went above and beyond what was asked, as were many others in my department. But we were still having customer complaints and dealt with regular safety issues due to the company at large and through no fault of our own. When we brought these concerns to our boss's attention, emails were left unread, and during in-person exchanges, we were called whiny, needy, and were told that we needed to just deal with it, whatever the issue. From items being stolen by customers to people being unhappy with the procedures the boss had set down for us to follow, it was always made to somehow be our fault. When we sought support from other departments, we were met with cold indifference, since the boss was great to them. And we must be exaggerating the things she said to us. Well, during an improvement meeting at the end of the fiscal year, it all came to a head. Myself and a couple of my team members dug our heels in and were insistent about the unresolved issues the boss refused to acknowledge, and she finally went off on us. She told us everyone was incompetent, didn't deserve our jobs, and that maybe customers would like us more if we were more likable. When people pressed her on safety issues, she continued to reiterate that we would just have to deal with it, and that if someone was going to die, they already would have, right? I, as the secretary, did my duty and took notes of all that happened over the course of that meeting. I usually did bullet points, but that night, I was feeling a little more thorough. So I wrote down words, every word that was said, every hateful comment, denial of accountability, and idle threat was recorded in black and white. Now, a second part of my job was to distribute the notes from the improvement meeting to the rest of the company. So, come the next morning, I ran about 100 copies of the transcript of the meeting and hand-delivered them to every single department in the building, and things blew up. People from other departments who had attended the meeting were able to verify that everything I had typed up had really been said. And folks were mad, threatening to quit, refusing to do their normal duties, browsing Indeed during work, etc. My boss's boss, who worked at HQ, so I didn't get the opportunity to hand her a copy, got wind of these meeting minutes only a few hours after I had handed them out, and had an hour-long, off-the-record conversation with me about all the safety issues I had documented, all the concerns I had submitted to management in writing, and all the records I had regarding my boss's inaction. She was very grateful for the 100 pages of documentation I sent over and thanked me for my time. The day after I unleashed Pandora's box, I put in my 2 weeks' notice, took a new job, and pieced out to greener pastures. At first, it seemed like things were calming down after I left. But the following year, the company did not renew my boss's contract. I still feel a bit bad because I wasn't trying to get her fired or ruin her life. I was just desperate for some accountability thrown her way to create some positive change in the company. But at the end of the day, I just did what she had asked me to do. So what you guys think and advise about Op's situation? And what would you do if you're on her place? What's your opinion or advice for her? Let me know on the comment. Now here's are the top 3 comments from our community. And what are their own opinion for Op? From Jussimejudunthon. Any boss shrugging off actual safety issues needs to be fired, preferably from a cannon. From Thatberg fan, magnificent work. And do not feel bad about how it went down for your old boss. As my grandmother would say, she buttered her bread. Now she has to lie in it, alas. Grandma wasn't very good at remembering sayings. And lastly, from helpful_idiot. The fact it took a year to get rid of her is the worst part.